Hello, we're here with Dr. Shalini Kesar, Associate Professor of Information Systems and Director of MS Cybersecurity and Information Assurance at the Southern Utah University. It's a pleasure to welcome you.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
You've very kindly spoken at our Denver forum earlier this year, and one of the very key topics, which has become even more key, is remote learning. And I know you and your university have made a big shift, as have many people in the world. How has that been for you?
Interesting times and a new normal is the right word. It's been challenging because a lot of our face-to-face or in-person classes, we had only a week or so to transit to remote learning so that students could still be effective and finish their semester. So I think the best way to explain that is that we've learned as we've transited. The online classes, which people have a mindset that it might be easy because it was already online. But I think just the whole atmosphere and the way the global crisis is, even online classes, we've made some adjustments because the environment at home has completely changed.
And is there anything specific to cybersecurity that makes it easier or harder to do online for remote learning?
Currently for us right now, no, because our master's program, it's intentionally done that because we wanted to reach to that demographics or those locations where students have a difficult time to come to the campus, and we are located in Cedar City, Utah. But regardless, most of our students tend to have a full-time job and they have other obligations at home, personal, professional. So our program caters not only, of course, for so-called traditional students, but we added a little niche to ourselves that we can reach students who are not necessarily located to or have the flexibility to come to our classrooms. So online teaching for us, for our cybersecurity program, I think is a great advantage, especially as you know, the field is huge. The demand for jobs, the field itself is growing. So it's a great opportunity for us to reach out to people who want to be successful in this field, but just can't because of the physical location.
Oh, yes. In the current climate, that makes sense.
Yes.
Throughout all of this process, we're going to see the end of those mass online courses that some websites offer, and the widespread adoption of university remote learning. Is it going to be a MOOC versus degree world, or will the degree win out?
That's an interesting question. It's $1 million question, I guess. I think it's going to be a combination of both. People are worried when we talk about online. They said, oh my gosh, the personal interaction will go away. I don't think so. I think education is just exploring the parameters, and we are widening our horizons to meet all the different demographics, the different style of learning, the pedagogy. So I think it's like saying the sky's the limit. We're just exploring all the different possibilities that are there. So as an educator, I don't like to normally say this particular style is going to oversee that. But certainly for our field in cybersecurity, we are providing more opportunities to students so they don't have to physically relocate and come to a particular location. So I think it's going to be a combination. And I also want to add that the mindset and the perception of what online teaching was maybe even 5 years ago has changed. The tools, the technology, resources to augment an online class actually are pretty cool now. And we are learning that more and more as educators because of the environment we are in today, that everything is online right now due to the situation. So we are actually researching different kinds of tools, and it's absolutely fascinating for me as an educator that I didn't know I could do a blog within my teaching, or podcasts, or even videos. So it's kind of a fun place for me. I feel like I've been put into a toy store and I can pick up anything I want and try it out. So there are a lot of new resources I think we should explore before we say online teaching is going to take over face-to-face or vice versa.
Well, that's a lovely place to be in, and I like the analogy of kid in the candy store. You know,
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
brave new world. But there will be skeptics out there, even though online learning has made massive progress. There'll be skeptics out there that say, well, how can I demonstrate that it was a return on investment, or how can I demonstrate cognition in perhaps a staff member they've sent over there? Is that a challenge?
The simple answer is yes, it's a challenge because it's a new territory, right? So, absolutely. But I think just taking a step back as a strategic planner, I guess myself, I think we have to think of the individual as an instructor. It's the same as walking into a face to face classroom. You don't know what the audience is going to be. Your style of teaching is completely different. So, the same thing goes for online. I think training should be involved in the institutions just to understand the little fine tuned things that you can change in teaching, interactive experiences with the students. Of course, is a little bit more challenging online because you have to keep them motivated and you have to keep them online. Again, going back to the tools. So, as an example, I do a lot of voiceover PowerPoints in an online teaching as opposed to an in-person where I would talk to the students. So just to add a little bit of kind of advantage to having the students hear your voice, to have that human interaction makes a difference. I tend to do a little bit more of videos. I tell my students to do assignments which involve videos, online discussions, so they feel what we call as a sense of community. So that sense of community has to be consciously made on an online platform as opposed to maybe a face-to-face class. So again, I think it depends on the institution, how they create online teaching training systems for the students and the faculty. We in our university have an online training center where they train us and they give us ideas. And we tend to do a lot of sharing and testing and trials. It's not going to be perfect. There will be, I guess, there's a teething issues always.
Train the trainer.
Yes, exactly. And I always tell people being in a cybersecurity field that, technology is technology. Things will go wrong. So I think just to show students that human element and consciously keeping in touch with them, maybe even doing an online meeting once a week, these small little tips and tips of the trade, I guess, or will help us. So, but training the trainer is very, very important. You actually nailed it. That's the important thing.
Do you think that there's going to be an appetite for gamification and something really interactive for someone's LMS platform, or are we going to remain in the academic world firmly?
No, you know what? I think you've actually said it. Gamification, the concept, interactive. I call myself as an educator, so that means I'm teaching both in academia, but I'm also an educator in the industry world because I think ultimately we have to get our students ready for the workforce. So if we've got to involve the workforce into our education system also, so they are better prepared for, unfortunately, the world we're living in today. How do we do crisis management? How do we make ourselves effective? How do we make ourselves productive based on limited resources, but still be calm, have that psychological impact also? So I'm a great believer on involving industry. It shouldn't be academia. We actually do a lot of online quizzes and involve the industry folks and use different platforms, free platforms for quizzes, even a simple thing like Kahoot, which is very simple, but it gets everybody on the same platform to do an online quiz at the same time. And there are so many other tools. I just thought of Kahoot because we were just talking about it, so it came to my mind. So I think the concept of gamification, cybersecurity training for what I do a lot of interactive experiences in the academia as well as in industry. I don't believe in giving them a piece of paper of like 20 pages and saying, here, read this and you're done. Because the human psychology and the way we are living is that we don't have more than 5-6 minutes of attention span. We need something creative and motivational. So gamification is a great training tool also for both academia and industry, I think.
Perfect. No, that's great. Well, I'm hoping to welcome you to another one of our events coming up in a digital format. We too have gone digital for the time being.
Okay.
But no, it's been lovely speaking to you. And what's next? What's next for you? What's next for the Southern Utah University?
We are actually right now exploring both in-person classes. We also do hybrid classes. We have online classes. Our location, I think it's both good and bad. We are in a fantastic location, but we are in a rural area. So we have small classrooms in person, but at the same time, we recognize a lot of students and a lot of teachers also can't physically come to this location. So our online platform is great to reach to those people who can't come here. So I think we are exploring right now, and I do a lot of projects at high school levels also for outreach projects. And it's interesting what you said about digital. We were supposed to host an event on 4th of May, and we are obviously not going to do it on campus. So we've gone digital, and it's amazing how much interaction we've got, because the mindset, oh, we can do it from home. It gives them that flexibility, accessibility. It gives them a little bit more of freedom, I guess is the right word. So our next step is just to explore all the different options. We want to educate, increase awareness to all the demographics, be inclusion. And I think online is part of being inclusion.
Lovely, lovely sentiments. And it's been great speaking with you. Have a great day, and I will catch you again soon at our next event.
Absolutely. Thank you. A pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you.